Nestled in the heart of Korea, the abandoned asylum stood as a haunting reminder of the past. Its dilapidated walls whispered secrets of sorrow and despair. Tales of the patients who had once roamed its halls echoed through the winds, turning the blood cold of anyone who dared to venture near. Rumors of ghostly apparitions and strange occurrences had spread like wildfire, captivating the curiosity of Park Ji-hoon, a young journalist seeking a thrilling story. Armed with his camera and a brave spirit, he embarked on a journey to document the eerie asylum. As Ji-hoon stepped through the rusted gates, a shiver ran down his spine. The air was heavy, laden with fear and the invisible presence of tortured souls. The asylum's decaying structure loomed before him, ominously inviting him to explore its depths. Pushing open the creaking door, Ji-hoon found himself standing in a dimly lit hallway. The flickering lights gave birth to eerie shadows dancing upon the peeling wallpaper. As he walked, he couldn't help but notice the unsettling sensation of being watched. The first room he encountered was a stark reminder of the agonizing treatment the patients had endured. Rusty metal beds lined the walls, their tattered restraints a grim testament to the asylum's horrific past. Ji-hoon's heart raced as he captured the chilling remnants of a forgotten time. He couldn't help but imagine the screams that had once echoed through these cold, desolate corridors. But it was the sound of a child's laughter that caught his attention, chilling him to the bone. A gentle breeze swept through the corridors, carrying with it the laughter of children. Within the asylum's very essence, the threads of horror, sadness, and torment had been rewoven into love, hope, and compassion. The abandoned asylum, once shunned in fear, had become a sanctuary, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. And as long as compassion thrived, its story would always be whispered from one generation to the next. The spirits of the past watched over the memorial, their ethereal forms glowing with a tranquil grace. They knew that Ji-hoon's legacy would burn eternally, a reminder that darkness could be defeated, and that redemption lay within the simplest act of compassion. And so, the abandoned asylum stood as a testament to the power of one man to change hearts and minds, and the transformative impact of compassion on a world desperately in need of redemption. Its story would forever echo through the annals of time, a haunting reminder that even in the darkest of places, hope and compassion could triumph. Generations passed, and Ji-hoon's name became shrouded in myth and legend. The story of the abandoned asylum merged with the fabric of ghost tales, whispered around campfires and shared with bated breaths. The spirits of the asylum, freed from eternal torment, became guardian angels, comforting lost souls and guiding them towards enlightened paths. And as new horrors unfolded across the world, the tale of Ji-hoon and the abandoned asylum continued to serve as a rallying cry. It reminded humanity that, no matter how grave and sinister the circumstances, hope and compassion were the essential weapons against darkness. And so, the legacy of Ji-hoon lived on, a beacon of light in a world that always had the potential to be renewed. His story embodied the power of one individual to change the course of history and inspire countless others in turn. In the heart of the memorial, a plaque dedicated to Ji-hoon stood, bearing his photograph and the words that defined his journey. Through compassion, we find redemption. Visitors paused before the plaque, their hearts brimming with gratitude. They looked upon Ji-hoon's face, knowing that within his eyes lay the courage to confront their own fears and the strength to rewrite their own stories. As night fell, the memorial transformed. Shadows danced playfully across the walls, embracing the spirits and the whispers of those who had found their peace. On his final day, surrounded by loved ones and supporters, Ji-hoon smiled. He had lived a life filled with purpose, and he was content, knowing that his journey had made a difference. Ji-hoon's spirit ascended, leaving behind a legacy that would inspire generations to come. The foundation bearing his name continued to thrive, carrying on the torch of compassion. In a world that had grown cynically dark, the story of the abandoned asylum and the journalist who found redemption within its walls reminded people of the enduring power of hope. The asylum itself, now nothing more than a memory, stood tall as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It became a symbol of transformation, a reminder that even the darkest places could be reborn in light. Visitors from near and far journeyed to the now memorial, their hearts filled with gratitude and reverence. They paid homage to the souls set free, leaving behind bouquets of flowers and messages of understanding. The whispers of the asylum's past no longer carried the weight of sorrow. Instead, they told stories of triumph over adversity, of the indomitable strength of the human spirit. The world had learned, through Ji-hoon's journey, that horror was not always found in the paranormal or the macabre. It lurked within the depths of humanity's indifference, its only antidote the unwavering power of compassion. The woman chuckled, her voice melodious. The power of belief is a remarkable thing, young man. In your act of compassion and courage, you gave me a chance to guide and uplift others. A sense of awe washed over Ji-hoon, mingled with a hint of disbelief. He had shaped the future as the elderly woman had foreseen. But what did that mean for him now? Sensing his unspoken question, the woman reached out and touched Ji-hoon's cheek. "You still have much to accomplish," she said softly. "But remember, your journey is not about finding answers. It's about inspiring others to ask the right questions." Her words resonated within Ji-hoon's very being. He nodded, a newfound sense of purpose bubbling within him. After that encounter, Ji-hoon continued to spread his message of compassion with even greater passion. He started a foundation dedicated to providing aid and support to forgotten communities around the world. The elderly woman's words became his guiding principle, inspiring others to ask the right questions, igniting curiosity and empathy in a world often plagued by indifference. With each passing year, Ji-hoon's impact grew, touching lives far and wide. The memory of the asylum became a catalyst for change, a reminder that compassion had the power to transform the darkest of places. As Ji-hoon's hair turned silver and his steps grew slower, the foundation he had built flourished under the guidance of those who shared his passion. Though the asylum itself remained empty, its halls no longer echoed with the sounds of suffering. Instead, its walls thrived with the brushstrokes of artists and the laughter of children attending art workshops. Years went by, and Ji-hoon's name became synonymous with resilience and humanity. He continued to advocate for the forgotten, drawing attention to places haunted not by supernatural forces, but by societal neglect and indifference. Yet, within him, a nagging question lingered. Who was the elderly woman who had appeared to him in the asylum? And what did she mean by shaping his future? The answers would soon reveal themselves. One evening, as Ji-hoon prepared to give a keynote address on societal compassion, an elderly woman approached him. Her eyes sparkled with familiarity, and Ji-hoon's heart skipped a beat. "It's been a long time," she said, a knowing smile playing on her lips. "I've been watching your journey, young man." Ji-hoon's mouth gaped open in astonishment, speechless at the sight of the woman who had appeared to him in the asylum years ago. You were there," Ji-hoon stammered. "Who are you?" The woman's smile deepened, her eyes twinkling. "I am the spirit of the asylum," she replied. "Or at least, I was. My purpose was fulfilled that day, thanks to you." Ji-hoon's heart raced as he tried to process her words. "You were a spirit? But you felt so real." With those final words, the woman dissipated, leaving Ji-hoon to contemplate her cryptic message. Was she a spirit? A guardian? He couldn't be sure, but her words resonated deep within him. As he stepped out of the asylum, Ji-hoon was greeted by the first rays of morning light. The world appeared vibrant, its colors bursting with life. He inhaled deeply, filling his lungs with newfound freedom. Ji-hoon's photographs, once intended to capture the macabre, now depicted hope and release. With a changed perspective, he vowed to share the asylum's story, not as a tale of horror, but as a testament to the power of compassion. Word of Ji-hoon's encounter spread far and wide, captivating the attention of the nation. People came to respect the asylum's painful past and the redemption it had found through one man's act of selflessness. The Korean government, moved by Ji-hoon's story, decided to transform the asylum into a memorial, honoring the lives lost and the souls set free. Ji-hoon's life took a turn he never could have anticipated. Invitations poured in from universities and conferences, eager to hear his first-hand account of the asylum and the redemptive power of compassion. He traveled the world, spreading his story and inspiring others to confront their own fears, to redefine their understanding of horror, and to use their talents to bring about meaningful change. "Are you lost?" he whispered gently. "I will help you find your way home." As tears streamed down the girl's translucent face, she took Ji-hoon's hand, placing her trust in him. The other spirits watched, their eyes filled with hope. Together, they navigated the twisted maze of the asylum, searching for an escape from this purgatorial existence. The walls whispered with gratitude, acknowledging Ji-hoon's act of compassion. At last, they arrived at a forgotten door hidden within the depths of the asylum. Its aged wood seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, beckoning Ji-hoon to open it. Taking a deep breath, he turned the handle, revealing blinding light that seared into their ethereal forms. The spirits hesitated but, one by one, stepped through the door, vanishing into the unknown. A profound silence fell upon the asylum as Ji-hoon stood alone. Exhaustion and relief warred within him, tears streaming down his face. He had fulfilled his purpose, bringing solace to the lost souls trapped within the asylum's walls. Just as he prepared to leave, the presence of an elderly woman materialized before him. She exuded an air of wisdom and kindness that rendered Ji-hoon speechless. "Thank you," she said, her voice soft like a gentle breeze. "You have lifted a burden that has plagued this place for decades. Remember this act of compassion, for it will shape your future." Panic seized him as the ghostly laughter of children filled the air. Shadows danced around him, whirlwinds of despair and madness. The asylum had unleashed its wrath upon Ji-hoon, ensnaring him in a nightmare that was all too real. With every ounce of willpower, Ji-hoon fought against the malevolent forces that threatened to consume him. He hurled himself towards the exit, his footsteps drowned by the cacophony of horrors that tore through his consciousness. The exit door loomed ahead, a glimmer of hope in the midst of chaos. Just as Ji-hoon reached for the handle, a bony hand burst through the wooden panels, clawing at him with supernatural strength. The touch of death grazed his skin. With a surge of adrenaline, Ji-hoon wrestled free from the grasp of the unknown entity. He stumbled backwards, terror etched into his face. Bleeding and battered, he fought against the exhaustion that threatened to consume him. As he turned to escape, Ji-hoon found himself face to face with the spirits of the past. Ghostly apparitions surrounded him, their tortured eyes pleading for salvation. The sheer weight of their despair threatened to crush him. Through the veil of agony, Ji-hoon's eyes locked with those of a little girl, her spirit consumed by sorrow. In that fleeting moment, he understood the truth. He wasn't meant to document the horror. He was destined to set the spirits free. Gathering strength from the depths of his soul, Ji-hoon's resolve hardened. He stepped forward, reaching out his hand to the little girl. Turning towards the sound, Ji-hoon's camera flashed a picture of a shadowy figure lurking in the darkness. Fear washed over him as his mind struggled to make sense of what he had captured. Could it be the ghost of a child who had perished within these walls? Ignoring his trembling hands, Ji-hoon pressed on, following a trail of whispers that embraced him in a haunting symphony. The air became thicker, suffocating him with the weight of the asylum's tragic history. Suddenly, a door slammed shut, jolting Ji-hoon's senses into high alert. Sweat dripped down his forehead as he tried to steady his racing heart. The asylum seemed to have a life of its own, taunting him, guiding him deeper into its dark secrets. He found himself standing in front of the doors leading to the infamous operating theater. The stories surrounding this room would curdle the blood of even the most stone-hearted. Trepidation coursed through Ji-hoon's veins as he hesitated. Steeling himself, Ji-hoon pushed open the doors, the squeal of rusty hinges echoing through the chamber. What he saw within sent chills down his spine. Surgical tools lay scattered across the stained floor, remnants of tortured souls who had suffered the hands of madmen. Suddenly, the lights flickered, casting an eerie glow on the cracked mirrors lining the theater. Ji-hoon's reflection seemed distorted, his own face morphing into that of a deranged patient. His pulse quickened with each passing second, his grip on reality slipping.